Hello, I want to welcome each and every of you to the maiden edition of Team's Reality TV show. I am your host, Pastor Udo. Our vision is to create a new brand of teenagers who can get to understand who they are, who they were created to be by God, and helping them navigate this life easily by His help. It is so important. Hello. A happy new year to every one of you who is watching this today. I want to celebrate each and every one of you who has made it into the beautiful new year 2026. I'm happy to be here. I am your lovely host, Pastor Udo Nwobi, and Teens Reality is continuing. To every one of you who has been contributing by following faithfully, by dropping your comments, your opinions, your questions, your struggles. That's to both teenagers, parents, guardians, teachers, every one of you who has been involved. I'm saying a big thank you to every one of you. Even as this new year starts, I want to urge you to become much more involved in what we do. We are here to make a difference in the lives of teenagers. That's the impact I personally want to see in the lives of teenagers all across the world. So I want to encourage each and every one of you, as you follow, as you are blessed, as you learn something, feel free to share with us your experience, the impact it's making, perhaps even the challenges you are facing. Remember, this is Teens Reality. I want to hear from you. You can send the information or any of these issues you have to the number +234 813 9292708, or send an email to teensreality@lifechangerstouch.org. You can be certain that we'll respond to you as soon as possible. Wow. Alright, we're going to be starting on a brand new series today. But before we delve into it, I want to point out the fact that it is still continuing from what we've been trying to bring attention to in this season. The roles of parents in the lives of the teenagers. You understand why parents must be more involved, why they must exercise the authority that they have received. Because I made mention of the fact that being a parent is not just by virtue of birthing a child, being biologically related to that child. It's about the fact that you realize there is a responsibility from you as a parent to that child, to that teenager that you are raising. So it is so important that this is understood clearly. Now, daily realities, I took our time over this period to look through a lot of things that have been happening, and a lot of things have been taking place in the lives of teenagers are a bit alarming. What's even more surprising is that it is starting before they even get to their teenage years. So it brings us to the new topic we're going to be discussing today. It is titled "The Current Realities Faced by Teens Today That Need to be Addressed." Current realities. These are things that can no longer be swept under the rug. They cannot be ignored. You cannot say, okay, nothing is happening, let's just ignore it and hope it goes away. It is not going away. Some of the videos we're going to be watching, on the show today is going to reveal to you that things have gone quite far. And the question arises, what are these teenagers being exposed to? What are these kids being exposed to that bring them to this point where they make such radical decisions, such rash decisions? You really wonder what's influencing them, what is motivating them. Because beyond watching those videos, I want to also emphasize that this year we're going to be focusing again much more on understanding the place of your teenager having a sustainable relationship with the Lord. If you're truly going to raise teenagers who are not going to strike fear in your heart by the time they grow up, they must know the Lord for themselves. They must have the Holy Spirit living in them. It's not just going to be like with their mouth and okay, maybe they go to church. No, it's going to be something deeper. That the Holy Spirit is able to convict them, He's able to teach them, He's able to instruct them. Because as teenagers, they have come of age where they can begin to build a relationship with the Father. And as a parent this year, it is one thing I want you to be determined to see happen in the lives of your teenagers, in the lives of your children. That they will know the Lord for themselves. They will come to know Him, spend time with Him, stay on His word. Because only when His influence comes in Can it stand as a safeguard against the influence of the world, of what the teenagers that are being exposed to daily on the media, as they go on social media platforms, what they are watching, what they are listening to, what they are reading? That is the only way to ensure that your kids are preserved and protected. Alright, I'd like us to watch this very first video, and when we do, we'll come back and analyze it. Just stay tuned.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A murderer, because I like killing. My brain tells me if I like killing or not. I like killing because when I first watched my grown-up killing show, myself started to like killing, and then my brain started to like tell me what to do with killing in it. So I like murders and I like killing in my life. I'm gonna kill everybody in the world except for my family because they just didn't do anything to me. I just like killing. So
just any type of person, it doesn't matter. What about me?
Yeah.
Even me?
No, not even my teachers either.
Okay, because I'm the first person that you told this. Am I? Yeah?
So I just like killing.
So what are you going to be again when you grow up?
A murderer.
Okay.
Bye.
Alright, so did you see that? When I stumbled upon this video for the first time, my first impression was like, such a handsome young child, beautiful young boy. And notice the confidence with which he responds to the question that was put to him. What do you want to be when you grow up? And he states it so clearly. It lets you know that this is not something that he just observed once. This is something he must have meditated upon. And then he eventually reveals it. When I first watched my killing show, that's the first killing show he watched, meaning that he has watched multiple ones. And then the question arises, at that young age, what kind of videos has he been exposed to already that has brought him to the point he has come to this conclusion that he wants to be a murderer when he grows up and that he wants to kill everyone? None is exempt except his family. That was his reasoning, and you can see that he's quite literally saying this thing. You notice that there is no malice, there is no like maybe anger in his words. It's just like a consciousness to him that it's normal. So just say I want to be a murderer, it's same thing as I want to be a doctor, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a musician, a singer when I grow up. That's how it seems so natural to this child, saying this is what he wants to be when he grows up. So as parents, you now understand why it is so important that parental controls must be in place for your kids. If you decide to be gentle in your parenting, because we're going to address that gentle parenting. If you decide to be gentle in your parenting, just allow them to spend their time the way they want, give them access to every kind of show, you get this kind of thing happening. This child who doesn't even fully understand the concept of killing yet, or the repercussions, or the consequences, this is what will begin to happen. This is what we'll begin to experience. And it really gets at the heart. Because this is just one video that we saw. How many kids out there are constantly or currently meditating on this pattern of thought? Killing is a lifestyle they want to adopt. It's something that they are becoming comfortable with the idea. Are you aware that right now, if you watch a lot of the programs designed for both kids and adults, the kind of suggestions that are brought into play reveal that there is an agenda to corrupt teenagers right from an early age. There is an agenda in place. Your kids are not safe when you are not monitoring what they are being exposed to, who they are listening to, who they are spending time with. You might say to yourself, okay, my kids not leaving the house. I don't allow them to play with strangers. They're not even playing with friends. I keep them at home. But even at home, what do you do while they are home? Is every single program available for them to watch? Is there any program that you say, okay, you've personally watched it yourself and decided that no, absolutely not. My teenager cannot watch this. My child cannot be exposed to this kind of influence. Because until you determine that you'll be involved intimately in what is going on, and what they are being exposed to. That video you watch right there is going to be the daily reality. In fact, it's already a reality. You saw it in life of that kid. It just might be happening to one of your own teenagers. And you begin to ask yourself, how did I get to this point? How did my child get to this point? You must be conscious of the enemy. The Bible tells us explicitly in John 10 verse 10 that the kill cometh for but to kill, to steal, and to destroy. Who is the thief here referring to? The devil, the enemy, Satan. That is who he is, Satan. But see who has come. Jesus said he is come that they might have life and they might have it more abundantly. You want your child to truly live life in an abundant manner, then Jesus must be involved in the equation. It is no longer up for discussion. He absolutely must be involved. You must ensure that going forward, you're not just doing this parenting business by yourself, by your wits alone. Because the truth of matter is that as parents, many times that you are learning as you go along. I made mention of it when we were doing this parental control session. Like, parents are not perfect. They're not perfect. There are many of them are learning as they go along, especially when it's just like the first child they're raising. Sometimes by the time they get to the second or the third child, maybe they've gained more experience. But still, not every child is the same. So the issues they present, what they face, and how you deal with it can differ from one kid to another. So this is a reality in our world where killing has become normalized. Every single movie you see, every game you watch, these different games, and kids are playing it for hours on end. Because right now, some of your schools have not even resumed yet, or perhaps this is about to resume. And the question is, how did your kids or your teenagers spend the holidays? How did they spend this Christmas break? What were they engaged or focused in doing? What has now entered into their psyche now, their mindset? What are they returning to school with? Having been exposed to during this past 2 to 3 weeks. What have they learned? What did you give them access to? Either by your negligence or either by your inability to stay in a main part of being focused on what they need. Because now, this is not to blame either the teenagers or the parents. It's just to bring both to an understanding of what is at stake here and what must be done to deal with it. What must absolutely be done to deal with it. We cannot keep silent about it any longer. We must look to what is happening and then deal with it speedily. I'd like us to take another look at another video right now and see what more is being exposed, because it's not just that kid that had that to say about killing. This one just made mention of what he wanted to do when he would grow up, but now this goes even higher. This one's actually become a plan. They premeditated upon it and would have been successful if something else did not happen. So just watch this next video.
Did you see those 5th grade girls that planned on killing another classmate?
I heard about this. It was a boy.
Yes, bro.
I heard about this, bro.
This blew my mind, bro. When I heard the full story, it's so crazy. So this actually happened in Arizona, and these 5th grade girls were all talking, and I guess they were all like angry at one of these boys that were also a 5th grader in the class because he supposedly cheated on one of their friends that was in that group of 5th graders. These girls got together and started talking, and these were their words. They were going to get this kid that cheated, take him to a bathroom, one of the bathrooms at the school.
At the school? At
the school. This was their plan. And during recess, and they were all going to wear gloves and stab him to death in the bathroom and make it look like he committed suicide. We're also going to write a suicide note to make it look like he just did this to himself in the bathroom at school, which is freaking insane. That was their whole plan. And the way that it got discovered is this other 5th grade girl, she overheard the conversation while they were like at lunch or something, goes home and tells her parents what happened. She was just like, I heard these girls at school talking about they're going to try to kill somebody at school. Called 911, told them the whole situation. Police end up going to the school and they literally arrest these girls on campus. They take them in the police car, they handcuff them, all that type of stuff. They release them to their parents, and all of the girls, I think it was about 4 or 5 of them, They all got expelled from that school. The scariest part about one of these little girls, though, and I'm pretty sure she's the one,
The ringleader.
I think she's the ringleader, bro. She's the one who operated, the whole thing. They said she was laughing.
Yeah.
And she was just like, she didn't care.
That's how I heard that, like, all the other girls were, like, crying and, like, scared that they got caught up, but
And
she
one of
was
them,
the
she was,
only
like,
one
laughing.
that didn't care.
Yeah, she was just stone-faced and laughing about it, and she was taking it like a joke.
Dude.
5th grade kids. If I'm not wrong, 5th grade at that age, you're probably just 11 years old. Between 10 to 12, 10 to 12. Highest 13 years old. They are not actually teenagers yet. They're just about to get into their teenage years, and already such a plan is taking root. And I want to even address something first of all. What they were trying to punish that kid for first of all was that he cheated on one of their friends. And then the question arises, kids dating at 10, 11, what do they know? When some of you say that, as long as he brings the boy home, she brings the boy home, or he brings the girl home, I see them, I can allow them, they're not doing anything. Does it even make sense to you? What does a child know at 10, 11, 12? To be allowed to get into a relationship where emotions are concerned. Ask yourself as a parent. Before you got married, you understand, for those of you who are married, some of you might even be divorced right now. Some of you went through a slew of relationships before you got to this particular point. Ask yourself how you felt whenever you went through a breakup. Ask yourself how you felt whenever you were dealing with issues. And ask yourself that, do you really think an 11 or 12-year-old child is developed enough to go into that kind of relationship? Because it sounded normal that yes, the kid should be in relationships and okay, he can now cheat. Because you need to address that issue first of all. This is a current reality, that early dating in teenagers. Parents, you need to sit up. You need to sit up. You cannot tell me that, they're allowed to express themselves freely, or they're not there as long as they're not having sex. How do you know they're not even having sex? How do you know? They're in school for some hours of the day. You have supposedly given them your permission to date. And now you expect them. Because now they've received the permission from you. They are watching all manner of things, all manner of videos. And then they begin to hear suggestions. And other kids begin to ask, how far have you guys gone? What are you doing? How are you spending the weekend? And demands and pressures. These are kids who are supposed to be focused on building up themselves, acquiring skills, becoming more proficient academically, learning stuff, bonding with family, preparing for the future. And now they're concerned about relationships. It's something I want you all to think about. Because then it now brings to the point, now these girls they feel justified. All right, if this guy was going with one of our friends, he had no right to step out on her and go do something else. Then we come to the scary parts. The actual premeditation of that murder they wanted to carry out. It brings us back to what had they been watching that could make them already know that they knew to put on gloves. The ability to choose the location of where they wanted to execute the murder, the preparation of the suicide notes, the plan to remove evidence, you understand, forensic evidence, by wearing gloves. It lets you know, kids are sharp these days. What millennials might have taken our time to understand, kids learn it in hours these days. They're exposed to a whole lot of things. And you cannot think as a parent that what was not a danger to you then is no longer a danger to your kid now. It most certainly is a danger right now. Because now it says that the 4 or 5 of these kids, young girls, they planned it all out. And it is certain that they would have carried it out if this other young lady had not heard them and gone to tell her parents about it. And that's how that young boy's life was saved. And the lives of these other 4 or 5 girls, they would have ended up in juvie, in prison. Because of what you call planning a mother. Planning a mother. I want us to take a quick break right now, and when we come back, we will continue. Remember, this is teens reality. I don't know what the current reality your teenager is facing, or perhaps you as a teenager is watching right now that you're facing and you want to share with us. Please do let us know. Issues we need to discuss right now that need to be addressed. We cannot be silent about them any longer. So send us every information you have with the number displayed on the screen, +234 813 929 2708, or send an email to teensreality@lifechanges.org. Do stay tuned. We'll be back shortly. Hello, I want to welcome each and every one of you to the maiden edition of Teens Reality TV Show. I am your host, Pastor Udo. Our vision is to create a new brand of teenagers who can get to understand who they are, who they were created to be by God, and helping them navigate this life easily by His help. It is so important. Alright, welcome back from that quick break. We'll continue on analyzing that video we had watched. Talking about the premeditated murder that these young girls planned to carry out on a fellow classmate who had cheated on a friend of theirs. So now, having made mention of the fact that these kids were particular to determine beforehand the location where they wanted to carry out the crime, they also determined how to clear the forensic evidence. They determined the weapon they wanted to use and the notes. The plan was to stage everything and make it look like a suicide. And I made mention of the fact that yes, kids, what they learn, what they're exposed to right now, something that might have taken millennials a long time to process, is something that these Gen Zs, Gen Alphas are not wasting time to discover at all. It comes easily to them because information feels like it's all out there. Nothing is hidden on YouTube, on TikTok. You can watch anything at all. And when you as a parent, you have kids who you've given early access to mobile phones or tablets or iPads, some smart devices, and you've not put any controls on those devices to ensure that they're not stumbling into dangerous sites where they're discussing with people. You understand? Who can even suggest to them? Because sometimes these thoughts don't just happen randomly. If they watch a sequence of activities over a period of time, they eventually begin to do it. I remember watching, there was a particular period, I don't know that it was just something around last year or 2 years ago, where there were a series of kids who were trying to choke themselves to death while streaming themselves live. It was like a trending video to do. Try choking yourself to death. It was what was trending. And this feeling of your kids always wanting to do what others are doing is something you need to disabuse in them early on. Remember what we just really discussed was preparing your teenager for life challenges. And one way to prepare them is to ensure that they are not willing to jump on the bandwagon of what every other teenager is doing. Train them to become comfortable in their own skin, in their own space. They should not seek the approval of others around them. They should not always think that they must do what others are doing, even if that thing those people are doing is bad. They should learn to think for themselves and think rightly with the help of the Holy Spirit. They should learn that. Because now imagine those kids. The police had to come into the situation, you understand, and take them all away. What was even more chilling is a statement of how they said one of the young girls who was caught she wasn't even repentant. Imagine a kid at that young age with already having a dead conscience. No concept of the fact that what she had been planning to do was absolutely wrong. She had been caught, she was not remorseful, and perhaps what might have been going through that young girl's mind? It would have been better I did it and then I was caught, or what? These are the daily realities being faced. You hear about a lot of shootings and killings taking place in schools. The shootings and killings are not always by some random stranger who just walks into the school. Some are carried out by the students themselves within the school, who are under pressure, who have been exposed to a lot of lies, who have been traumatized in different ways. So as a parent in this year 2026, I want you to be conscious of this one thing. Spend time with your teenager and know what their current thought process is right now. You need to know what they are thinking. You need to know who they are hanging out with. You need to know what has been suggested to them that they have accepted as the norm right now. It's not enough to just observe them from a distance. You need to be all up in their matter. I think that's the word. Be right there. Ask, inquire, speak to their teachers, speak to the friends that you know about, and monitor closely. Monitor closely. I cannot even imagine what the parents of those young girls would have felt when they were eventually called up and told, okay, this is what we heard about your daughters, this is what they were planning to do. How many of them would have been shocked? How many of them would have been surprised? This year 2026, you must be focused on the realities going on around your teenager. You cannot afford to be silent. You must observe what is happening in the lives of the friends around them, even in the school, so you will know what to curb and what to deal with in a timely manner. You know what to address. You know what to eliminate and what to put in place to ensure that your teenager is being raised in the right manner and groomed to do what he or she is supposed to do. This period, I want you to be vigilant, and I want you to monitor exactly all that your kids are doing. Do it with love and let them understand that it is for their best. You understand? I'm not asking you to be like harsh, extremely harsh with them. Let them understand that you're concerned, that this is what is currently happening in the society, and you want to be sure that they are not going down their pathway, or it is not already being suggested to them in a manner that they are willing to listen, embrace, and accept. That must be your plan this year 2026, and I want to urge you, together we are going to make a difference in their lives. This year we're going to work together, and I urge each and every one of you to keep following what we do. Keep working with us. Remember, it is Life Changers Touch TV channel on YouTube. Subscribe, like, follow. Share with your friends, share with your loved ones, your family members, and let them know this is a wholesome show that will not just help them understand what is happening, but help them know how to deal with it with the help of God, because He alone is the great helper that they need. Alright, we'll be stopping here today, and when we come back on our next episode, we will continue from where we dropped off. Thank you to every one of you who has watched today. I remain Pastor Udo, saying to you, keep doing the right thing that you do as a teenager and as a parent. Cheers. Hello, I want to welcome each and every one of you to the maiden edition of Team's Reality TV show. I am your host, Pastor Udo. Our vision is to create a new brand of teenagers who can get to understand who they are, who they were created to be by God, and helping them navigate this life easily by His help. It is so important